Hi everyone, this is Shravani. Welcome to my channel NCERT Medicine. In this video, we'll be discussing the previous year questions of science, that is paper 2 of January 2021. And if you have not yet liked, share and subscribe my channel, please do like, share and subscribe my channel and encourage me. Question number 61. Which of the following statements best describe the nature of science? 1. Scientists are totally objective in their work. 2. The scientific method is the only guide for conducting research. 3. Science is a system of beliefs. 4. Science is social in nature. Which of the following statement best describes the nature of science? Scientists are totally objective in their work. Totally objective means nothing but it is impartial. We cannot say that the scientists are impartial in their work. Sometimes they will be partial in their work. So option 1 is wrong. The scientific method is the only guide for conducting research. We can't say that it is the only guide, but the scientific method is the best method for conducting the research, and there are other methods to conduct the research like observation and surveys. So it is not the only method for conducting the research. So option 2 is also wrong. Science is a system of beliefs. We can't say that the science is a system of beliefs, but it gives us the evidence and the ideas to change our beliefs or follow the beliefs. So we can't say that it is a system of beliefs. So option 4 is the right one because science is social in nature. It is social in nature because whatever the experiments they are doing or the inventions they are doing, that is related to the society. So option 4 is the right answer. Next, question number 62. Cognitive validity in science curriculum means 1. Dilution of content. 2. Inclusion of appropriate fun elements of science. 3. Inclusion of how concepts of science evolve over time. 4. Adaptation of content as per the cognitive level of learners. Here, cognitive validity in science curriculum means whatever the content, process, language and the pedagogical practices that we are applying in the classroom, that should be age appropriate and that also should be within the cognitive reach of the child. Here the option 4 is the right answer, that is adaptation of content as per the cognitive level of the learners. Question number 63. According to NCF 2005, in the upper primary stage science curriculum, which of the following is recommended? A. Concept should be linked to making sense of everyday experience. B. Concept should be arrived at from activities or experiments. C. Concept should be taught through disciplinary approach. D. Along with concepts, laws and theories need to be introduced. Here, according to NCF 2005, which of the following statements are recommended? Which of the following statements are correct? Option A. Concept should be linked to the making sense of everyday experience. According to NCF 2005, whatever we are teaching to the child in the classroom, that should be applied by the student in the real life. So option 1 is true according to the NCF 2005. Next, concepts should be arrived at from activities or experiments. Whatever the concept we are trying to teach, that the student should be learned that concept from the experiment or from the activity. So option B is also the right one according to the NCF 2005. Concept should be taught through disciplinary approach. It is not disciplinary approach. The concept should be taught in interdisciplinary approach. Interdisciplinary approach means nothing but learning single subject from multiple perspectives. That is interdisciplinary approach. So option C is the wrong one, and along with concepts, laws and theories need to be introduced. It is not must for introducing the laws and the theories in the upper primary stage. So option D is also wrong one. So A and B, that is option 4 is the right one. Question number 64. From the following, identify the statement that is true about science. Option 1. When a theory has been supported by a great deal of scientific evidence, it becomes law. Option 2. In time, science will be able to solve most of the society's problems. 3. Scientists rely heavily on the imaginations to carry out their work. 4. All scientific ideas are discovered and tested by controlled experiments. Here we have to identify the statement that is true about science. That is true about science. When a theory has been supported by a great deal of scientific evidence, it becomes law. It is a misconception. It is not true that when the theory is supported by the evidence, it does not become a law. The theory becomes a law only when it is tested thoroughly, and then only it is accepted as a law. So option 1 is wrong. Next, option 2, in time science will be able to solve most of the society's problem. In time and most. The science will be able to solve the problems, but not most of the problems. If the science is able to solve the problems in time or most of the problem, there won't be the poverty, droughts, famines in the country. So option 2 is the wrong one. Next, option 3, scientists rely heavily on the imaginations to carry out their work. Yes, first they will imagine, then they will be working over it. So they will be relying heavily on the imagination. So option 3 is the right one, and the option 4 is the wrong one. Why? Because all scientific ideas are discovered and tested by the controlled experiments. Scientific ideas are also tested under the uncontrolled experiments also. Controlled experiment means nothing but where all the variables are constant except one. For example, if I want to test the growth of the plant in the different soils, then I will be using the different types of soils, but I will be using the same kind of seeds, same kind of temperature, that is sunlight, and same quantity of water. Then I will be testing the growth of the plant in the different soils. Here all the variables are constant except the soil is different. So this is called as controlled experiment, where one thing is kept as constant. So option 4 is the wrong one. Question number 65. Ishu was given an individual task of collecting weather report for a week. Identify where Ishu went wrong from the assessment indicators given below. Option 1, she concludes that decreased humidity increases the likelihood of rainfall. Option 2, she understands that range of maximum and minimum temperature varies every day. Option 3, she tabulates data from a website every day. Option 4, she arrives at conclusion that rain may or may not take place in the coming week. Here, Ishu has collected the weather report for a week, and she did some wrong from the assessment indicators given below. These are the assessment indicators, and we have to find the mistake from those indicators. So option 1, she concludes that decreased humidity increases the likelihood of rainfall. This is wrong, because it is not decreased humidity, it is the increased humidity. When the humidity is more, then there will be the chances of rainfall. So option 1 is the wrong one, and this is true that the maximum and the minimum temperature will be varying every day. This is the right statement. And the option 3, she tabulates data from a website every day. It's okay to tabulate the data from the website. And option 4, she arrives at conclusion that rain may or may not take place in the coming week. Because she concluded that may or may not takes place is also the right one. So option 1 is wrong, because when the humidity is more, then there will be the chances of getting rainfall also increases. So option 1 is the wrong one. Next, 66. Which of the following is a useful strategy to understand conceptual gaps in learners? Option 1, using concept maps. Option 2, giving homework regularly. Option 3, organizing quiz sessions. Option 4, observing practical skills. Which of the following is a useful strategy to understand the conceptual gaps in learners? That is using concept maps. Concept maps mean nothing but the main topic that will be having the subtopic. Again, the subtopic will be having the other subtopic. This is called the concept map. By using this strategy, we can understand the conceptual gaps in the learners, and the option 1 is the right one. By not giving the homework and by organizing the quiz sessions and by observing the practical skills, we cannot understand the conceptual gaps in the learners, and the option 1 is the right one. Next. Question number 67. To encourage more girls to take up sciences, you may adopt all of the following strategy except. Option 1, invite women scientists to visit your classroom. Option 2, engage students in examining myths and stereotypes about science. Option 3, use gender sensitive language and encourage your students to do so. Option 4, be mindful that girls always dominate discussion in science classroom. If you want to encourage more girls to take up the science, which of the following strategies should not be used in the classroom? Here, except is given. Invite women scientists to visit your classroom. By inviting women scientists to the classroom, the students feel encouraged and motivated to take the science subject. So, option 1 is the right one, and the option to engage students in examining myths and stereotypes about the sciences. Stereotype means nothing but the fixed idea the society is having, particularly regarding the gender or the work. So, this is also the right one. Use gender sensitive language and encourage your students to do so. Gender sensitive language means, for example, salesman. Salesman is specifying only one particular gender. So, here as a teacher, you have to encourage the students to use the gender sensitive language like salesperson, which is specifying both the gender. So, this is also the right one, and here you have to be mindful that the girls always dominate discussion in the science classroom. Here, if you are encouraging only the girls to dominate the discussion, so this may be developing a type of bias or the partiality towards the one gender. So option 4 is the wrong answer. Here we should not use this in the classroom. Question number 68. Science teachers need to ask more divergent questions because option A, it stimulates and develops critical thinking. Option B, it directs students to correct answers. Option C, it helps develop thinking strategies. Option D, it helps in assessing creative behavior in a learner. Science teacher need to ask more divergent questions. Divergent questions means nothing but a question or a problem which is having more solutions, more answers, then it is called as divergent question. That nothing but it is a open-ended question. Open-ended questions are called as divergent questions. So why the teacher should encourage divergent questions in the classroom means it stimulates and develops a critical thinking. The option A is the right one because critical thinking means nothing but to generate many possible solutions. It is a thought process which is helpful to generate the many possible solutions. Option A is right, and it directs students to correct answers, not to direct them to the correct answer. We are asking the divergent question. So, option B is the wrong one. And option C, it helps develop thinking strategies. Yes, the divergent questions helps in developing the thinking strategies. Option D, it helps in assessing creative behavior in a learner. Yes, divergent questions or divergent thinking is directly relative to the creative behavior. So if you're asking divergent questions to the children, automatically it develops a creativeness, and it also helps in assessing the creative behavior in a learner. Means when we are asking divergent questions, we will understand the creative behavior in the learner. So here option A, C and D are right. So option 4 is the right answer. Next. Question number 69. Using demonstration in the classroom predominantly involves learners in option 1 visual, auditory and kinesthetic learning, option 2 auditory and kinesthetic learning, option 3 visual and auditory learning, option 4 visual learning only. Performing the experiment and the students will be learning. So it involves learners in visual. Yes, here the students will be learning visually, that is the students will be observing what teacher is doing, so they are learning visually, and the auditorily, and they will be listening, they will be learning auditorily because whatever the teacher is saying they are listening here. So it is helpful in the visual learning, but not kinesthetic learning, because here the students are not doing any experiment. If the students are doing experiment, then it is called as kinesthetic learning, but here the students are observing, so it does not comes under the kinesthetic learning. Option 1 is the wrong one. Auditory and the kinesthetic, auditory is there but kinesthetic is not there, so option 2 is the wrong one. And option 3 visual and the auditory, here only the visual and the auditory learning is taking place, so option 3 is the right answer, and option 4 is also wrong, visual learning only. So 69, 3 is the right answer. Next, question number 70. Give the sequence of planning for your science classroom using inquiry approach in teaching concept of density. Option A allows students to determine relationship between the objects that float and sink. Option B allows students to play with water in a tub with different objects. Option C asks students to design a small boat that can carry 1 kg of weight. So here we have to find the correct sequence. Here we have to give the correct sequence for the sequence of planning for the science classroom to teach the concept of density. Allow students to determine relationship between the objects that float and sink. See, beginning only we can't ask the students to form the relationship. Here we have to allow the students to play with water in a tub with different objects. When they are playing with the different objects, they will be seeing that some of the objects are sinking and some of the objects are floating. So by this they will be able to understand that the object which is having more weight will be sink in the water and the object which is having less weight will be floating in the water. And first this will be done by the student, and allow student to determine the relationship between the objects will be coming in the second one, and later we will be asking the student to design a small boat that can carry the 1 kg of weight. So this is the process, that is B, A and C. B, A and C, that is option 2 is the right answer. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have not yet liked, share and subscribe my channel, please do like, share and subscribe my channel and encourage me, and thanks for watching.